How are you guys able to stay focused?
Oh man, just wanting to win the game, wanting to finish out the road trip great. Just knowing him personally, I know he'd have wanted me to come out here and try to ball and, still just be great. So, that's what I tried to do tonight.
Can you describe the mood amongst your teammates?
Everybody's sad. You know what I mean? Words can explain his impact he had on this floor. The emotional impact he had on everybody. You know what I mean? We're a team from LA, so we know LA's history with him. And, it's just sad.
Thing I've learned basketball-wise from Kobe, what he meant to the game, the inspiration that he brought to the world. Not just that, his daughter. I'm a father. I can't imagine something like that, happening. It's a sad, very sad day.
Tomorrow, you even had shoes designed off the influence of Kobe. What did he mean to you personally as a player growing up?
Everything. Everything I learned came from Kobe. Everything. Take Kobe away, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have love. I wouldn't have the passion, the drive. Everything came from.
James, usually I love when the phone rings and your name pops up. Today was just different, and I heard it in your voice when you said to me that Diane had walked in and said they're being reporting on TMZ that Kobe's helicopters crashed, and we didn't want to believe it, and I still don't want to believe it. Big game.
Yeah, it's something that you just don't want to hear, and you can't believe it when you hear it. Just extremely devastating. My mother used to always say, you can't put a question mark behind God's period. Something has happened to a great person, a father who had given us everything. That was his gift to us. And our gift to him at 41 years old was to allow him to live a life with his kids and be free from all the microscopic things that he had been under his entire career. He was a great man. Kobe was a good dude. Very young when he came in. I remember he was a rookie, and I was a rookie in the television industry. It was my first year. And I remember getting an interview with him, and all I heard was, yes, sir, no, sir. And I told him, I said, stop, I'm not that much older than you. He said, yes, sir, no, sir. And then his game suffered. At the beginning, he struggled a little bit. But, this is, and the other people that were on the helicopter as well.
Yeah.
It's going to affect a lot of people.
A lot of people.
But Kobe is, you just don't know what to say. We're at a loss for words, but this is a time that as a Laker nation, that the only thing we can do as a Laker nation and Laker fans is lean on each other. There are no words for this. And his beautiful daughter that we had seen so many clips. You just don't want to hear a story like this. So the only thing we can do is remember. It's not going to pinch us till months from now. But his last year, I got a call from Gary Vitti at 10 o'clock at night saying Kobe wants you to come meet him at the gym at 9:30. I said, for what? Nothing I can teach him. He wanted to know about footwork. So his drive.
That was late in his career.
For life. It was just late in his career. He just wanted to. I'd already seen him score 80 points and just demonstrate all the footwork that I've ever seen. Even some that I didn't know. Yeah. And he wanted me to meet him at the gym so he could ask me how to enhance some of the things he was doing. So his drive for life, speaking multiple languages, what he was going to do going forward is just, this is going to be a tough lump in the throat.
We appreciate you coming over here. You were on the plane with the Los Angeles Lakers, returning from Philadelphia this morning. Just landed about an hour ago, and here you are. I don't need you to give me the intimate details of what that was like, but what can you share from how that went down?
Yeah, it was a 5-hour flight, left about 11:30 Philadelphia time. The team stayed over in Philly last night after playing the game out there. And not even halfway through the flight, somebody was online and realized, the news. And at first, it was just kind of stunning. It's like, this can't be real. And then you realize that there's some confirmation, and then that's when the emotions started to pour out. And it just became a very stunning moment I will never forget in my life. And so many people on that plane with so many connections to Kobe. Players were emotional too. None of these guys even played with Kobe on the current day Lakers, but a lot of them played against him. And they know what he meant to this league, and they know what he was like as a father, and a lot of sadness on that flight.
Yeah, and some of those players, dear friends with Kobe.
Sure.
I mean, for LeBron James, just last night, he passes Kobe, excuse me, on the all-time scoring list, and he spent, Brez, his entire interview talking about Kobe Bryant, what Kobe meant to the game, and what he meant to him, and what an honor it was to share this stage with him. And I'm sure for LeBron and other people on that plane that had a relationship with Kobe Bryant, that this was really difficult.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's still, here we are several hours later, trying to process it, and that's LeBron James right there. None of the players were talking publicly about Kobe's passing. The franchise is still processing everything, understandably. And, Kobe, for all the stories of him being this amazing competitor, which, Rob, you played with him. You know them firsthand, obviously, and James, you spent plenty of time with him as well. But he had a softer side to him. He was the first teammate, ex-teammate, I should say, to go by Lamar Odom's bedside when Lamar was in a coma several years ago in Vegas. You could stop by Kobe's locker a couple hours before the game when the media had access and could talk to players and say, hey, what happened to your Philadelphia Eagles? And start up some banter. Just kind of get to know him a little bit. I wrote a story a few years ago, about a month into what would be Kobe's final season. He had not announced his retirement yet. And the story was co-written with Brad Turner, who comes on our shows plenty of times. And it was talking about Kobe's rapidly declining skills on the court. And we said, you know what, he's not going to like this story, is he? But sure enough, 2 days later, I was up in Portland, I believe, and there's like a playful tap on my shoulder. And I turn around, and there's Kobe. He's kind of smiling like, all right, I read the story. I'm going to try to prove you wrong. Yeah. But, of course, shortly after that, he did declare that would be his last season as a basketball player. And I'm still just stunned that he's not with us anymore.
I'm Chris McGee with Robert Horry and Allie Clifton as we continue the coverage of Kobe Bryant's death. He was among 5 people found dead in a helicopter crash in Calabasas Sunday morning. Rob, I'm going to start with you. I know this is a hard time for everyone. You good friends with Kobe, 3 championships together. I'll let you take the floor.
The thing about Kobe Bryant, I remember when I got traded to the Lakers, and there was all this hype around this little 18-year-old kid that's a phenom. And I was like, whatever, and I got in practice. And I remember one of the first plays, I went to set a pick on him, and he tried to run through the pick. And I looked at him and says, okay, young fella, I see you got some grit and some grind to you. And from that moment on, you can see the maturation of this guy, the importance of getting better, the importance of being a great teammate, and him being a sponge. We use that term so much in basketball, but he literally learned from B. Shaw. He learned from me. He learned from Glenn Rice. He learned from all these guys and became one of the best basketball players ever. And for this to happen to a great basketball player, a great father, a great human being, a guy who was just trying to expand himself beyond basketball is a huge tragedy.
The thing I think about with Kobe is just how much he transcended beyond just the NBA, beyond just the male athlete. Being a little girl, 6, 7 years old, in the backyard, Kobe was my generation growing up. It was the 3-2-1, hit the game winner, you thought you were Kobe. And I had my first opportunity in Cleveland in the NBA in November. Lakers came to town, and my producer gave me a call and said, I want you to go cover Kobe at shoot around. I was shaking. I was sweating. It's basketball, Allie. But that's Kobe Bryant.
Yeah,
the excitement.
Yeah, there's no question. And I think for a lot of my friends and a lot of Laker fans that have lived here our whole lives and seen Kobe grow up, and Rob, you can speak to this. Yeah. You've seen the different levels of Kobe Bryant, that 17, 18-year-old kid that kind of had to wait his time the first couple years, even though he wanted to be starting. It wasn't until that third year where he started all 50 games, to winning those 3 championships, to then having those few years without Shaq where he was scoring all the points but the team wasn't doing well, and then that second time around where he won those 2 championships in 2009 and 2010, winning the MVP in 2008. He became, according to D. Fish and Luke Walton and all those guys, Lamar Odom, more of a team guy, more of a leader, sit with them on the plane. So he opened up in a different way. And then to see him post Achilles and the last couple years, opening up to the media, spending 30, 40 minutes in a post-game show. Rob, probably crazy for you to see all those different levels of Kobe as well. But that's why I always explain to people, Kobe's ours. Like, we watched him from 17 years old until this.
Yes.
You know,
you grew up with Kobe, and if you watch the guy, he came in the league with a chip on his shoulder. I can remember times where, after games, a lot of guys would be mad at Kobe because back then you would bring beer in the locker room. Yeah. But when you got Kobe, it's an 18-year-old like, man, where's the beer? You can't have it because Kobe's in there. Oh, we got Kobe Bryant. But, Kobe started developing, what, I'm becoming this guy where, this locker room is going to become my locker room. I'm going to be that guy where everybody's going to look up to me. And he tried to build up that armor. I call it, he put this armor around him where he was like, you know what, I'm going to be this guy. I'm going to be this king of this team. And I'm going to kind of like distance myself from the players, even though he didn't really distance himself from us because we brought him back into the fold because we were such a fun-loving group. Me, B. Shaw, D. Fish, and Rick Fox, we all brought him back in the fold and made him enjoy games with us and show him that it's not always business. You can enjoy basketball by having a little fun at times, but then you need to switch it off and be business-like. And he had so many moments like that with individuals. I remember we were coming back from a trip, I don't remember where, and we were sitting there playing cards. And you could see the young side of him. He was looking like, what are you playing? I'm like, well, we playing spades. I'm like, you don't know how to play spades? Like, no. I said, what black man in America don't know how to play spades? And so I sat there and I taught him how to play spades. And it was just one of those things where he was like, he made it. And for him, he kept losing. But Kobe,
he wanted to win.
Let's play again. Let's play again. Let's play again until he finally got it. And it's just little things like that where you can see, he was trying to break into the mold to get to know older guys. And I think some people don't understand when you have an 18-year-old come into a team with a bunch of 28, 30-year-old guys who are going out, going to a club and drinking, it was kind of hard for him to mix with those guys. But eventually, that shell, that armor was broken. I use armor because it's body armor, his company. But he broke that armor and he became more of a teammate. And he started, coming to functions and doing that. I just wish I would have been a part of that, Kobe Bryant, because that would have been a special moment for me to get to know, the 2 different guys.
Yeah, and he was always about the moment. Like, Allie, think about it like this. I mean, I'm sure Bulls fans remember this with Jordan and all the young kids growing up in Ohio with LeBron. When they played, you thought you had a chance to win. For 20 years, every time he stepped on the floor, you thought, I have this guy on my team. Yes. We have a chance. There's an incredible pressure that comes with that. I think the weight of the city and all the fans, he embraced that. That's such a rare quality to have. I think that's why 2009, 2010 meant so much to him, Rob. Of course, those 3 with you guys did. But remember, everyone was gone. Phil was gone. Phil came back. Shaq was gone. Rob was gone. And to win those, I think, meant a lot to Kobe Bryant because he was feeling it.
Yeah. I think, it became his team. Yeah. Back then it was kind of Phil's team, Shaq team, and he was kind of like the third man. Even though Phil wasn't a player, he was still kind of like the third stringer. And I think when he got a chance to say, this is my team, my crew, I put this team together, Phil was like, you coming back to me now. Now you under my realm, So, and I think that was a key for him to say, hey, I can show you, I don't need Shaq. I can carry a team. I can be the finals MVP. And I think that was really important for him to showcase what he could do and that he could actually lead a team because we all know he was a leader, but he just had another big dog there like Shaq that was just a dominant force.
And it just gives you that next level insight to why fans love and worship this individual. Because all along those ways, not only did he embrace the challenge, did he want the pressure, but he allowed the fans and the people from the outside to feel a part. And as you mentioned, to always know that that guy that you rooted for gave you a chance to win every single time, but he made you feel a part of that. And that's family, and that's why you guys can sit here, especially now I get to be a part of this, and say he is ours. He is the face of the